One of the challenges of the internet is the sheer amount of information that's available online. Some of it useful, some of it out of date, some of it incomplete, maybe inaccurate, or just completely biased. And I think when it comes to camera reviews, that's one of the ones you might find yourself needing to tackle. This is a really useful resource for getting information about cameras. It's been running since 1998, this website. We have a very complete review here for the Panasonic S1R. We've got the performance, and I'm just going to show you a very brief section of it. The sample section gives us a ton of data, some of it in JPEG format, some of it in RAW format. You can download these, and it's a standardized test to see the performance of the camera. In the gallery section, we have a more naturalistic use of the camera. Image quality is one that I really like. This is where you go. I'm someone who likes the spec sheets. I like to look at spec sheets. I think I can get an understanding of what a camera is going to produce. But when you have got some degree of confusion as to whether you should go in one direction or another direction, we can see what the actual differences are in the image. Now, these are available at much larger size. When we move to the lenses, they've got sometimes really complete lens reviews as well. And some of this stuff gets very technical. But if you like that kind of thing, they have a ton of information here. A gallery for the Sony a7 IV. And we can see, once again, RAW files, JPEGs. You can download these, you can zoom in, you can put them into Lightroom and see exactly what kind of images you can get in these sorts of naturalistic settings. But the real big bonus here are these images here. You have tons and tons of images showing very colorful scene, actually just one colorful scene shot under different circumstances. And because the samples that they use remain the same for different cameras, you can do a camera to camera comparison. This is a comparison of the Canon EOS R5 with the Nikon Z7. Now, from looking at the spec sheet, I would expect the Nikon Z7, and also from knowing quite a bit about the technology, I would expect the Z7 to produce the superior image quality. I can go here and take a look at the same images taken by the different cameras under exactly the same circumstances. Now, the website is a bit of an IQ test, trying to actually navigate it. But once you get into it, you can find a lot of very useful comparisons here. If I wanted to compare the Z7 with the Canon R5, as you can see here, we've got the same image, and I've just really located the same location within. It's a giant image. This is a JPEG image, but it shows me almost instantly we've got significantly better color, better contrast, better image quality in the Z7 here than in the Canon R5. So I get information that confirms what I was thinking, but I also like surprises. I also like to sometimes get information which goes against what I thought I would get. That can be really useful when you're choosing to buy a camera. Just being surprised by something that you hadn't expected to see can be a real bonus. It can be something that will shift you in a different direction to the direction you were going into. It's also possible to use the information to justify your decision after you've made a purchase. We all like to think that we are right. And then when you purchase something, you kind of wonder, did I actually make the right decision? So you can use it for post-purchase confirmation as well. Now, another website which you should definitely take a look at is DxOMark. Now, we tend to think of DxOMark as being a place where you get simple numbers telling you whether a camera is very good or not so good. I've generally found it very useful in the past, fairly scientific. Now, you can dive into different lenses and different sensors, and it will give you detailed information. Let's go and take a look at distortion for the Nikon Z70 to 200mm f2.8. As you can see here, we've got a grid that shows me what a square grid should look like. Well, it shows me what the square grid actually looks like at 70mm. I would expect that square grid to have some distortion at 200mm, and you can see what the distortion is here. So there's a lot of detailed information. If you just dive in to some of the reviews, some of the data, some of the measurements, you'll find a lot of information that gives you background information about how the camera performs under different conditions. This is really useful for getting a sense of how lenses will work, and they cover a wider range of lenses, I find, than with Imaging Resource. Overall, with DxOMark, it has got its limitations, maybe more limitations than Imaging Resource, but they do cover, I think, a wider range of lenses. And also where they don't cover, you also have the benefit of knowing that they're fairly consistent in what they don't cover. So you know that they don't cover Fujifilm. Certain Fujifilm cameras are just not going to appear on this website. Also, a lot of Leica lenses are just not apparent on the website as well. So they're fairly consistent in what they cover, what they don't cover, and you can get an idea of what's missing from the evaluation. But these are two websites definitely you should look into when you are purchasing a camera. They will help you eradicate some of the brainworms that you might get from watching some of the reviews.